Okay, we're here with Jeanie Stewart, and she is running for County Clerk, Montgomery County Clerk. I'm John Wirtz, and with me are Dale Fessenden, Bob Bagley, Dennis Tibbs, and Pat Tibbs. And so what we'll do is start off with Jeanie, and as we just discussed, we'll do you're welcome to do a 5-minute opening.
Okay.
And then we'll go around the table and ask questions, and we have about 2 minutes to answer each one.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just start with your opening.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you all for having me here. My name is Jeanie Stewart, and I'm a candidate for County Clerk. I was just a little about myself, I guess. I was born here in Montgomery County, and I grew up for my first 8 years in Oak Ridge North. And then I moved to Willis, where I stayed until I was 16, and then my mom and I moved to Conroe, and I graduated from Conroe High School. I married soon after high school, and my husband and I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada. So anyway, yes, that is surprising. So we lived there for 10 years. Our children were born there. I actually, during that 10 years that we were there, I worked for a insurance company, and I also did retirement, pension and retirement for the IATSE and Culinary Fund, which is what people typically do there, stagehands and restaurant because of all the casinos. And so anyway, I did the retirement for those. Anyway, when we decided to have children, we had our own construction company, and I also had an editing business. And so I did that for 10 years. And managed the construction company. And then we decided, when our oldest was almost 5, we decided to move back here to raise them in Montgomery County. That it was not really a great place. Clark County was not really, Las Vegas was not really where we wanted to raise our children. So we moved back here. And anyway, so after we got here, we moved to Willis, and that's where I still live. My first husband and I divorced, and he died a year later. But, and anyway, I'm now married to a wonderful man, and we've been together for almost 10 years. But anyway, so let me think. What else? I went to work for Montgomery County 9 years ago, and I started as the clerk for the auto theft division for the sheriff's office. And I did that, I don't know if y'all know Lieutenant David Moore, he was a captain, but I did that under him for 4 years. It was a great job. I did the budget, helped him with, we worked under a grant through the state of Texas, and we did all of that. So I did that for 4 years, and then I was promoted to the administrative assistant to Chief Randy McDaniel under Sheriff Gage. And I did that for 1.5 years. Until Commissioner Nowak took office over here, and he'd been in office about 6 months and was looking for an office manager. And I knew Matt Beasley, and because I worked with him in auto theft. He was a detective prior to coming over to work for Commissioner Nowak. And anyway, so I interviewed, and Commissioner Nowak gave me the job, and I've been over here. Like I said, he originally hired me to be his office manager. And then Barbara Lowry, who ran the community center, she retired. And so after she retired, I came over here to run the community centers. And I've been doing this for almost 4 years. So I don't know what else to say about that.
All right. Well, good, thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
So in one of the questions under the general category, as a governmental entity, you seek to be elected to effectively fulfilling its role, how or how not, and you answered, no, I do not believe the office is effectively fulfilling its role. And you answered some more, but you seem to be well qualified for the position, but what really separates you from the incumbent, and what makes you the better candidate for this office?
I believe that I'm a stronger leader than the incumbent. I believe he's not necessarily an active leader. I think he's kind of passive and not really involved. I don't think he focuses on customer service or teamwork. I'm very very much supportive of working together and working with all of the other organizations within the county, whether they be the JP offices, whoever you're doing work with, the county courts, that you all need to work together to get the job done. And I don't believe that that's necessarily being done at this time.
Okay. Dale?
Okay, following up on that, you indicated in your answer there that there's room for major improvements. Could you list some of the specific things that you have in mind for that?
Okay. I would like to, of course, not being in that position, not being over there, these are thoughts and ideas that I've had. And I know somewhat of the way the office is structured, and I would like to focus on that. I think it might need to be restructured and kind of more evenly structured, where it's not such a hierarchy where just one major person is in control, and just maybe divide it up a little more evenly.
Okay. Do you have a couple of other things in mind, or is that pretty much summarize all the improvements that you envision at this point?
Well, that's one of the main ones I would focus on. I also want to focus on customer service, because I just think that that's just a very important aspect of any office, and that's what I do here, so I'm used to dealing with the public and trying to make sure everybody's happy and everything that's going on, and that they're getting the service that they need and deserve.
Okay.
To follow on with that one, you mentioned one person in control. So is that the elected official that's in control? And if so, then you're going to be the elected official. Are you going to not be in control?
No, no, absolutely. That's kind of, I don't know how technical, I don't know how much to say. I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to be offensive or anything like that.
Well, you brought it up. There's one person that's in control, and you think the control should be divvied out.
Right.
If that one person is the elected official.
I don't think it's the elected official.
Okay. That was a question. Okay.
So.
Your move from office manager, which in most cases is usually a high paying and high responsibility position, to running the senior centers. Was that a difference in management, skills? Was there a pay increase or decrease, or was it a promotion for you to do that, or?
It actually was a promotion, in my opinion, it was a promotion. It was very flattering to be able to get that job. Yes, over there, I kind of felt like it was, yes, I ran the office, but I didn't really supervise anybody. Over here, I have 8 staff. I do all of the scheduling. I'm in charge of all of the receiving of all of the money that's received here, all of the contracts that are done. We have over 200 groups that meet here on a regular basis, plus hundreds of groups that make reservations, and I'm in charge of overseeing all of that. So it's more responsibility. It wasn't a whole lot more money. It was just, it was more of the experience and being granted that opportunity to be able to do something like that.
So you have 8 people that work under you?
I do have 8 that work under me.
Okay, and what is the relationship between you? I know this is going on, but I still within my time. The relationship between the senior center and the creek, the Spring Creek Center, is there any at all?
Oh, yes, they all belong to me.
Okay.
Do I get to answer that? Okay. The senior center, I have 4 community centers.
Okay.
The Spring Creek Nature Center belongs to me, the Robinson Road Community Center, and the Oklahoma Community Center on 2978.
Okay.
They just don't have any staff at those 2, at Oklahoma and Robinson Road.
Anybody?
The Spring Creek has staff at it, but they're not directly under me. They have their own management over there, but I do handle their rentals. Not at this time, because unfortunately it was flooded.
Right.
And so we're not renting that building at this time.
Is it going to be rebuilt? Or have they said that?
We haven't made a determination.
Okay. Dennis? When you're finished.
Well, it may take me a long time to get finished, but just got the phone. So what are the Differences and similarities between the district clerk and county clerk, and what are the relative staff sizes?
Oh, okay. Well, I know that the district clerk has more staff. I think they're 60-something compared to the 30-something of the county clerk's office. The county clerk deals with the county courts and the records such as marriage licenses, birth certificates, death certificates. The district clerk is divorces with the district courts. And that's the main difference I know with the district clerk. I don't know a whole lot about what they do as far as the difference with the county clerk.
And how is the clerk's office handling the same-sex marriage applications now?
How are they handling it?
Are Montgomery County having some apply for it?
I'm sorry?
Is Montgomery County having people apply for same-sex marriages?
I do not know the answer to that. I know how it was handled when the law was passed a couple of years ago, and I didn't agree with the way that was exactly handled. I don't believe that it should have been opened up on a weekend to allow for that, but you know, it is the law, just not to make that kind of accommodation.
It's sort of the law now. When that happened, Paxton came out with a letter that said clerks didn't have to give them, right? You familiar with all that?
That he gave them
He gave this, in the state of Texas, clerks are not required to issue those licenses.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was not aware
Well,
of
it's a couple of
that.
years ago. I'm sure there's been more court cases since then.
Was
Okay.
that after the current clerk issued that license that Saturday? Because I remember when it happened, as soon
Yeah, I
as
don't
it
remember
passed to
the time.
Bergerfell, it passed to Bergerfell on what, Friday and
End of
Saturday?
June. Yeah.
They were open for business, he was open for business, and, but anyway.
Anyway, time's up, so
Anyway, okay, so.
say that.
Oh, like to- Okay, kind of playing off of what Dale and Bob were saying, primarily Bob, this may involve firing people, this job.
Mhm.
Are you prepared to do that if necessary, and have you done that in your current position?
No, I have not done that in my current position. I am prepared to do it if it's necessary. I would like to go in and, you know, evaluate the situation and see what all needs to be done before I make such a harsh decision as firing someone. But I have not had to do that. I have a fabulous staff, and they work very well for me, and we all respect each other, and so I haven't had that problem.
Okay.
But I am fully aware that I will probably have to deal with that.
All right.
Okay, usually people, especially people who run for office the first time, don't choose a vacant office. You're running against an incumbent, a long-term incumbent, as you've already acknowledged. And so I'm naturally curious as to why you chose to run against this particular individual versus some other incumbent for some other office. Why this particular race?
You know, I've been asked that question, and I just felt that this particular office fit my personal needs and my personal skills the best.
Have you had personal dealings with this office?
No, other than getting a DBA one time and getting a marriage license, and I haven't had to go in. I think maybe I did get a copy of a birth certificate one time, but no, I've not really had any personal dealings with this office. It's just, I just felt that that was the office that I would be the best for.
Okay, and since you obviously have room for improvements in mind,
Mhm.
you've obviously had some exposure to the internal workings of the office. And so, I don't know whether that's through friends or whatever, you don't have to be specific, of course,
Okay.
but still, you know, it's natural to wonder if you haven't had a lot of dealings with the office. Again, where did you come up with your ideas for all of the improvements?
I have had some contacts with some people that deal daily with that office, and
Okay.
have offered some suggestions of things that they would improve on, if they were given the opportunity. So could you please maybe look into this, if you win?
Okay.
kind of thing. So, you know, for example, you know, I've had many people bring up the computer program, the collections program. Apparently it's all a little different for the different JPs, and some are going for what the ones that, some of them are using one program and others aren't using it, and there's some controversy there. So I'd like to look into, investigate that a little bit more about why are some of them not going for it and others are. They're not working together is what they're not doing.
Yeah, is that something that the county clerk would have control and input over?
Mhm.
Oh, really? Would you make the decision in that, or?
He has chosen
Final?
right now to not get on the same system that some of the other offices in the county are using, and which created some issues with collecting fees, warrant fees. There were fees not being collected for a time period. I don't have access to those records at this time, but there's been some mention of things like that because of the issues with this not being on the same computer system.
Yeah, I'm-
So the talk about same-sex marriage applications, you said you really didn't go along with it. But on here, the question was, do religious and moral values
Yes.
have any role in the county governance process? Why or why not? But your role as an elected official, granted, is to uphold the law, but you still have a voice in what
Absolutely.
takes place.
Absolutely. And if I'm given an opportunity to like step in, and he made that choice to open up that day, I wouldn't have made that choice. Following the law is one thing. Going over and above because of your own personal beliefs is a little bit different.
Okay.
And, you know, and I stand strong on my faith and my Christian beliefs, and that's just not something I would have done.
Well, with all the problems we're having with ethics in the county, my personal belief, and I'll ask you yours, is that if you don't have a good moral base, how can you perform as an ethical person in office?
If you don't have a good moral base, how can you, well, I feel that I have a very strong moral base.
Okay.
So I don't think that that's an issue for me.
Okay.
You know, one of the problems that's come up in the last couple of years, and it's turned out to be a pretty big deal, is the nepotism problem. And your husband's now an employee too, right?
He is. Mhm.
So what are your thoughts on that, and are there any people in that department that are related to others, and would you try to prevent that from happening, or what? And you know what the scale is in the county, you know, we got commissioners that have daughters and sisters, and it's pretty widespread, you know.
Absolutely. The way I understand, though, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, the way I understand nepotism, though, within the county is if you have any control over the pay of that individual that you are related to. I don't have anything to do with my husband working in building maintenance. That's no relation whatsoever. He didn't need me to get that job. He had 25 years of building experience for a very large firm in Houston, so he didn't need me to get that job. That didn't have anything to do with it. Do I believe when it gets to just say mothers and daughters or somebody like that working in the same department, working in the same office, I think that's a little tough. I don't know that should, even though one doesn't have anything to do with the other's pay, I think it still can create some issues. But
You will have something to do with your employees' pay, once, I mean, you'll give salary reviews and that sort of thing.
oh yes, for mine. I was talking about for my husband. I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
anything to do with his.
But
So-
so, the county clerk's office kind of touches almost every other department in the county government, doesn't it?
How so? I mean, as far
Well,
as.
records.
Okay, but I don't think that's not personnel records though for the county. That's, yeah, that's human resources. That would be the treasurer's office and human resources and things like that. That's not personnel records for the county.
Are you physically close in your job with your husband? I mean, like, y'all have lunch together?
Oh, gosh, no. No, you know what?
And who by?
No, you know what? He is always so busy because, like I said, he's the construction manager, but he's building maintenance, which is the whole county. And they have all of these buildings and then after the flood, and so he's been working really closely with Commissioner Knock at this time right now.
He work on roads?
No,
Just buildings?
just buildings.
Okay.
Okay, so you said in the questionnaire that you do favor term limits. With that, how long do you plan to serve if elected?
Put me on the spot, huh?
Should have foreseen that one coming.
I did foresee that one coming, actually. You know what, I think 3 term limits is a pretty good number. And possibly that would be what I would serve.
Those are 4 years?
I'm sorry?
4 years?
It's 4 years each, right?
4 years, yeah,
For-
4 years each
For a
time,
term?
yes.
Okay.
And and part of that is because of complacency, and I did answer that put that on there also. I just believe that after a period of time, we all do. Everybody just they get used to doing their job, they quit looking for new ways to improve, and you just let things go. You quit looking for anything to make it better, new ideas.
So, since I got about a minute left, let me ask also, is this a step up in pay? You may have addressed that before, and I don't recall. And if so, is there a certain percentage, not that I need an amount, but is it an increase in pay and about a percentage increase?
It is an increase in pay for me. It's significant, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I just think that we need to make a difference. I'm doing it because I think I'm a good person, and I think we need good people, and in county government and in all jobs. And I hope that I can make a difference. And that's the main reason why. I'm not, like I said, it's not the money. I just want to make a change. I just want to be brightness for the future.
Okay.
Okay, some of the rest of these folks have taken a lot of my questions, so I'm having to scrounge through my notes here.
Early bird, then.
Yeah, well, that's why I sat over here. Okay, this one is, again, reflecting back on a previous question and answers and so forth. But you stated that as far as primarily relying to help on what do you primarily rely on to help you make difficult decisions, and you said I also rely on my conservative values and beliefs. Mm-hmm. Have you given much thought to, have you come up with any of the requirements of the county clerk's office that might be in conflict with your beliefs? Now, we again touched on that in this one case before, but maybe you could elaborate on that, or if there's other areas that have come to mind or something like that.
Unfortunately, I haven't looked into that really any more than that main issue there. And probably ought to investigate that a little more and find out really what's going on in the state of Texas at this time with the requirements for the county clerk's office. But that was a main concern is how to deal with that when it comes up, because it's not something I agree with, and that is hard to deal with things that we don't agree with. But if it's the law, and like we said, I will research that some more, and if there's something I can change about it, I will do it.
Okay. Right. You also may recall the 2-year ago time frame, the clerk in Kentucky who you might want to look more into that case right there,
Okay,
because that was pretty major headline news.
5-6 days in jail, huh?
oh, yes, I remember that
10
story,
days, yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Can I follow on that? Okay, so same question. So what do you turn to when the whole day seems like it's a Murphy's Law day? And even with your organization skills, it almost seems overbearing.
What do I turn to? Prayer. And honestly, that's what I do.
All right.
And I think that's what John was leading us with.
That's the right, it's,
Well, that's just,
works for me.
it's just the truth.
I'm impressed with the degree in business admin and minor in public administration. To go along with that though, with the minor in human resources. As the chief of the office, HR has a responsibility to you and the county as well as to the individuals, as well as to your employees. Are you willing to work with HR, with your personnel?
Absolutely. I have actually, oh, I don't know if I can say that.
You don't have to be specific, but let me just say, for instance, you've got a person that's going through a hard time, that is going through a divorce, and is just not there mentally, and then starts being late and things like that. Instead of reprimanding them or firing them because of it, are you willing to work with them in HR to be able to work out something for counseling or whatever they need to be able to get back on track?
Absolutely. I have a.
Table
That's right, Nikki.
I just have a real heart for the people. I'm actually, and I can give you a brief description. One of my staff, she's actually not well at this time, and most of my staff are older, and she is not feeling well, and somebody mentioned to me that she would prefer to come in at 9 o'clock rather than 8 o'clock every day. Well, I would love to do that for her. I would love to. But my personal love for her, I can't do that. You know, I would love to, but management-wise, I can't do that. And it's just, but yes, I would be more than willing to help. I have another staff member that needed special accommodations, and I talked with HR and was able to do that. So, yes, I'm more than willing to work with my staff.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah, I see that you agree to abide by the platform. Have you read the Republican platform?
I have read the
It's pretty
platform.
thick, huh?
200 and I don't know, I lost track.
Yeah.
200 and something little numbers.
You've been there with us when we dissect.
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine.
Convention.
I can't
You
imagine.
need to come this year or next year.
Yeah.
And do that.
So we've had a lot of the well-known Republican elected officials that really don't pay attention to it. What kind of public information is on the clerk's website? Is there budget information on things like that on the clerk's website?
Not that
Do you
I-
have a website or just the county website?
The county website, and there's actually a lot of information. There was one of the things that I would like, actually I noticed a couple of errors on the website that I know. That's that editing, that I started college to get an English degree and changed my mind. So yeah, that's the editing part of me, I just, yeah, let's see. But anyway, yes, there's a few things, but there's like, most things are accessible online now, which makes it very nice. There is one thing that somebody suggested that they would like to have changed online, and I would definitely look into that for them. I don't know if y'all know that the county clerk is in charge of brands, which is like cow brands. You know,
Oh.
that's very I know, right? This is very strange, but that they are. So you have to register your brand, your cattle brand or whatever with the county clerk's office. And apparently,
And done that yet.
oh, no. So apparently, I guess if you do it with your pigs or whatever, I don't know, but all of the brands are by name, and that's not necessarily easy to locate because they're all a symbol. So they wanted me to see if there was a way to put the symbols on the website rather than just the name only, and make it easier, because a lot of people are looking for just a brand symbol. They don't know necessarily what the name is. So anyway, that was just, I'm not real sure how I got off on that, sorry about that.
Yeah, that could be on the website.
But yes, there are some updates to the website that I have noticed. There's a few others, and I'm sorry I don't have any notes or something written with me right this moment, but I've made a lot of notes on the website on the changes I believe need to be made.
Well, good. Some of our websites are pretty good, and Edie Conley's website is good. Some of the other JPs are not good.
So we have, by my calculation, about 20 minutes left.
Okay?
Jumping in the budget, the question we asked was what are the top 3 areas where the budget needs to be adjusted? You said you evaluate all areas. Do you have anything in mind right now that you would adjust and look at first when you go in, like the first 100 days in office?
One of the things with the budget would be staff. I don't know if y'all listened to the previous budget hearings with the county, but the county clerk, the current county clerk, when he did his budget hearing, he commented that he's had the same number of staff for the last 23 years. So I don't really understand that. I would like to understand why he's had the same number of staff. Has his budget increased? Has he had the same budget for the last 23 years? That part I don't know. I haven't seen what he's requested for the last 23 years. But I just find it interesting that you can have the same number of staff and claim to be fiscally responsible, but I don't know, is that staff efficient enough? Why are you still at the same number? Or have you given everybody pay raises and everybody's doing more work? Or because you know the county has grown exponentially, so I don't understand that part. So I would really like to look at the number of staff and the budget for the staff.
It's doubled, but the spending's quadrupled if you believe the golden hammer, huh? Of course, I've run those numbers before too, so maybe not a bad thing. And I don't know how much time we have left, but
Starting over then. Too slow.
go ahead.
We had 33 seconds.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dale.
Okay. You focused a lot on, shall I say, personnel, customer service, things of that nature.
Okay.
Can you give us a couple of examples of things that you've done in the position you've been in this past 4 years, things that you have done, improvements you've made, changes you've made, that might give us a picture of what you hope to accomplish in the county clerk's office?
Okay.
Examples from your past 4 years.
Okay. The working for here in the center, one of the ways, I guess I can touch on for a second that when I came in, there was originally a full-time staff out front, and so to kind of cut the budget with that, we have now 3 part-time, daytime employees rather than having a full-time employee with benefits. So we did do that, and which works very well because they all can alternate their schedules, and that makes things very easy there. As far as customer service, that's what we are. And customer service is not just face-to-face, it's phone calls, it's working with all the organizations, everybody that does reservations around here. And this center has grown a lot since I took over in 4 years ago. We have added multiple groups. They didn't originally do afternoon activities, and I've added afternoon activities. And just trying to help the community, getting more and more people in here that can, because we don't charge nonprofit organizations to meet here during the week. And so if you'd like to bring your club in here and play bingo or play cards or 42 or whatever you'd like to do, you're welcome to come. If I've got the room and the books, then you're welcome to come. So we really have focused on providing everything we can for the community and allowing everybody to come in and use the facility that they pay for with their tax dollars.
Okay, good. Bob?
That's it.
I like that last bit. That's part of the problem that we have in government today. The government thinks that it's theirs and it's not the taxpayers. And they have this belief that they're over the taxpayers and they're not the servants that they're supposed to be. So you said you were a servant. I'll relate to you a little bit. Coming from a military background, a 4-star general in the military runs the entire Army or runs any one of the 5 major services.
Okay.
That's as high as we have right now. We have no 5 stars. A 4-star general is in charge of hundreds of thousands of troops and billions of dollars and makes less money than some of our elected officials in this county, with a lot less responsibility, a lot less money to deal with. Where is the line between serving and being served? You follow me? You're either, if you're a servant, you're doing things for the people, and it sometimes a sacrifice for you, and not constantly. I'll bring this to Harvey because we just went through this. We had people that were working, and then they got off, and then they were helping people, and then others are trying to get them to pay for their time that they spent after hours, doing what they were doing during hours. So there's a line there. Where do you see any difference in serving and?
I do. Actually, I gladly volunteered my time during Harvey also, and would do it again, and wished I had more to give. I do not believe that even if I was here till midnight every night, which I wasn't, fortunately, but I know that there were a lot. Basically, you're asking, if I'm understanding correctly, if I feel that everything should be compensated for, and no, I believe that some of it is just out of the goodness of our heart, and I love to volunteer. I love to be here with my people. I love to help the seniors, and actually this is totally irrelevant, maybe but my hope is to one day have my own organization to assist the veterans and the others that are less fortunate in our community. But that's just a future goal of my own. But and do I expect to be compensated for that? No. I think that a lot of our nonprofits are out of control, but that's just my personal opinion. But yes, I do believe that there is a line there, and I guess for everybody it's different. But I do have a servant's heart, and I would choose to help anybody over trying to make money off of it.
Do you get a chance to go to the commissioners' court meetings?
Not too much, because of the senior center, we serve lunch every day at 11:30, and it's a huge deal for me to leave at such a prime time of the day, and I know Commissioners Court
Yeah.
sometimes goes just,
Well, it does, and one of the things that have come up a lot in the last year or two is the budget, and not just the budget, but county salaries. And right now, Montgomery County elected officials generally make about the same salary as Waller, Grimes, and Liberty combined. So we have a few candidates running that say they're gonna, cut salaries in the county. So would you be upset or walk off the job if we got a group of conservatives in that cut your salary 20%?
no,
Okay.
no, not.
I'll vote for it.
But no, honestly, I really, no,
Do you know what the salary is?
I do.
Okay.
And, that's not why I'm choosing to do the job.
Okay, and under ethics, there's we got about 10 minutes left. Under ethics, and this won't take 10 minutes. So hopefully.
She's got a timer.
One of the questions was, how will you improve the transparency and access to financial and other records for the public? And you said that all legal access is granted. I will ensure that all legal access is granted, financial and other records to the public. Are you aware of any records that should be right now available to the public?
And, well, as far as, yes, I mean, I guess the Commissioner Court records, all of those things are, those are available and accessible. So I actually know the clerk that has to sit there and transcribe all of that stuff, which is.
Well, so they do transcribe that?
She listens to it, that's her job. She sits in a little office all day long and listens to the minutes over and over and over again. Can you imagine?
And they're posted on video now, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess she must type it all out in
There's your
some
first
way, so
employee.
she has, oh my goodness. So, yes, bless her heart. So that's what
Yeah,
she
they do
does.
have software that converts that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's something that needs to be looked into budget-wise, actually, if it's reasonably priced, but man,
It still leaves a lot to be desired, but anyway.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure it's far from accurate.
So with a minute left, before you stop that. Okay, so do you believe Americans should be forced to provide medical care and public education to people who are in our country illegally? And you said absolutely not. And I guess the follow-on question would be, what about children of illegals who are U.S. citizens?
The children being U.S. citizens? Is that what you're, okay. Well, I guess if they're a U.S. citizen, they should be given, the care. Unfortunately, their parents shouldn't be here, and the children probably shouldn't be
Okay.
Okay, you, in the response to the question, please list civic, political, etc. organizations, you listed 4 of them there. Can I ask approximately how long you've been members of each of those 4 groups?
Which I listed there.
Liberty Bells?
Liberty Bells, which is actually, I'm a member of that one. That one has been a year. And I'll be honest with y'all about the organ, well, I'm gonna be honest with y'all about anything anyway. But, gosh. Yeah, no, actually I've been attending all of those for a year. And honestly, the reason is I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old son, and they are my top priority. And I realized I kind of got in this in the middle of them. One of them is a senior this year, and but he's now driving himself and his brother places, so that kind of takes a little bit off of me as far as that. But
Yeah, but I don't think your 2 boys are all that interested in the Woodlands Republican Women or the Liberty Bells.
no, but I just mean that I go home every night to be with my children. And so that's why I just recently in the last year started getting involved in all of these different organizations. And just because I was there for my kids. I mean, they did, not that it's relevant to this, but you know, I have been with my husband for almost 10 years, but they did lose originally their dad. So it's been very important to me to be there as a constant.
Okay. Bob?
You listed that you don't have any endorsements at this time. Are you trying to get them? And if you are, who are you looking to get them from?
The public is really my main concern. I want the approval of the public, and that's who I'm trying to please. That's who I'm going to be working for. So that's what I'm after. And I would love it. You know, I have several. I have a friend of mine calls them underground supporters. So I have several of those. Welcome to Montgomery County. But anyway, so I don't know that anything will happen with that. But you know what? I'm okay with that because I am strong in my belief in God and that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Win or lose, this is the path that I'm going on, and I hope to make a difference through any of it. And that's just my goal. And so I want to reach the people. I haven't focused a lot on a lot of organizations because I focus more of my time on meeting the people. I go to events where people are. And
Would the endorsement of this organization, would that be good for you or not?
I think it's good for everybody. So.
Have you ever been to any of the conservative groups? We have our meetings, there's a Patriots Pack, there's Eagle Forum that are all around here that sort of cover the same sorts of things. Have speakers like the state senators and reps. Have you been to any of those meetings?
I have. Actually, the Eagle Forum happened. I was invited to attend that meeting time before last, I guess. But with actually being a candidate, you know, we have meetings just about every night. So you kind of have to pick and choose which ones you're going to and at what time.
Right there.
I'm sorry?
He's the honcho. You can arrange something if you need to. You know this thing about, do you have any embarrassing moments? You did answer no. Do you know the sort of things that we were looking for and what we've seen in past years?
What are you looking for? I'm not embarrassed about anything that's happened in my life.
No impending court cases and
No.
unpaid tax liens?
No, actually, I'll tell you this. When I applied for the sheriff's office, this was really kind of funny. They could not believe, and yes, I'm going to say this on camera, so I guess so. They could not believe that I had never smoked a cigarette. I had never tried any drugs. I had never, all these things they want you to answer on this. Have you ever seen the packet that you fill out with the sheriff's office to go to work for them? You would think that, I mean, my goodness, it's crazy. It's huge. It takes forever. And then they wanted to put me on a lie detector test because they couldn't believe that I had never done any of these things. And I'm like, sorry, I haven't done them. I'm sorry, I'm just me.
You won't make it in Montgomery County then.
Well, that's why, I mean, I had several people do that. Oh my gosh, Jeanie, why are you doing this? You, of all people, why are you doing this? Because I want to make a difference. I just feel that we don't treat each other nicely. We don't work with one another. We don't work together. We don't try to help one another. And I hope to be able to do all of that.
By reaching across the aisle, you think, of course, you're not that kind of politician, but let me ask you, what political party registrations have you held in the last 20 years?
Oh, as far as just
Republican,
Republican.
Democrat?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got, is that for now far?
Well, you don't register for a party, my God.
Well, have you been voting?
She was in
you know?
Vegas. She was right there.
Kind of, sort of.
We got 9 minutes.
We got about
Okay.
3 minutes.
Okay. been trying to formulate how to ask this question. You indicated that there are some people who have familiarity with the county clerk's office who have maybe tried to encourage you to run. Are you aware, and you don't have to give specifics, of course, but are you aware of members of the public who've gone in for services and have been very disappointed with the responses they've gotten or anything of that nature? Is that like, maybe you heard one case, maybe you've heard hundreds, whatever. Can you just kind of give a feel for what you're hearing, what you know about what the public's response to the county clerk's office is?
I will tell you that, yes, I have heard some stories. Originally, it was customer service I was hearing about. I've heard some other things, and like I said, I don't know that I want to get too specific.
Right.
But all of those things I will address. But customer service was a big one. I actually had a nameless person that inquired about why I was running, and then she took that information and went and told it. And I thought, well, if you would have just asked me, I would have just told you. You didn't have to be deceptive about it. But regardless, after that, I started hearing that things were improving, you know, with the customer service over there, that all of a sudden things were looking a little bit better. So I knew that that was just because I had put it as a campaign strategy, that it was something that, and it was on my Facebook, and it was something that I was really focused on. I noticed, and then I started hearing that, oh, things are changing a little bit over there. But that just tells me that they're working under fear factor, and that's not the right way to handle it either.
Okay, so if you like, you can take up to 5 minutes to close, and
What is
then
it?
we'll wrap it up. As soon as Pat gets her time over.
Okay, I don't need 5 minutes, but anyway, I think y'all heard most everything I have to say. Thank y'all so much, really, for allowing me to do this. I really do appreciate it. It's been my pleasure, really, and I had some horror stories to tell you.
Did we live up to that?
Spanish Inquisition, right? Yeah.
It's like, oh, don't go in and talk to them.
Yeah.
But no, anyway, it's been great. Y'all are
Good, I'm
great.
glad
Thanks.
that's out there.
Yeah, we've scared a few people.
I won't tell anybody any different.
Okay, all
Good,
right.
we have a reputation.
All right, well, thank
You do.
Thank
y'all
you
so
for coming
much.
in, and good luck in your campaign.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we have